Artists, creatives, and designers, welcome to Dream Aloud Art, the podcast where creatives are educated on seeing value in themselves and their creations. Presented to you by RTA, respecttheartist.com. I'm your host, fellow creative and friend, Electra B. Frederick. Let's go. Ah, yes. How to sell your art on Instagram. Part one. Part one, y'all. Yes, indeed. So, part one is what is the goal? What exactly is the goal? What are you trying to do here? And I really got to warm this topic up because I have had so many conversations with artists. I'm not talking about the consultations. I'm talking about, well, including the consultations, but what has been going down in the DMs with artists, y'all? Oh my gosh. So every now and then, I'll open up the floor to give a brief consultation to an artist about their Instagram. So if you go to my Instagram currently, like today's date, if you go to my Instagram, because who knows when y'all are listening to this, but if you go to my Instagram, you will see some posts where I have been encouraging artists to send me a DM um, so they can get a brief consultation. And I do this to learn the current state that creatives are in. Okay. One person won't speak for the entire, creative community. That's not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about is the state of several artists out here. What are they experiencing? What are they thinking? What are their questions? It also helps keep me sharp, okay? Because it's beneficial for me to give these brief consultations so I can stay sharp and on top of it, so I can find solutions and things to help them out. And not only them, but I'm more than positive another artist is going to end up having an inquiry just like theirs. So, man, the response that I have received from artists, it's like, wow, I just learned so much. We're going to dive right into some of the things that I learned and some of the things I've learned, but then some of the things that you are going to learn today. You gonna learn. You gonna learn. You know why? Because you're listening to this. Like, why would I create a podcast episode that you're literally not gonna learn anything from? Like, what? I'm sorry, whose time would be wasted? Both of our time, okay? All right, so okay, so y'all know I'm good. I'm a good student, so I have my notes right here. I'm a good student. I try to be the best instructor that I can be, but I definitely have my notes, is what I'm saying. Okay. So, what is the goal? Instagram, I have to remind y'all, I got to get some of y'all out of the headspace of app land and how it's like, oh, Instagram is this cool little game where I can like play and hang out and just if you see Instagram as that, then by all means help yourself, right? I'm not trying to tell you that you must see it differently or force you to see it differently. What I'm saying is that what's important is that you know the purpose of whatever it is you're using. In this case, you need to know what is the point of Instagram for you. What exactly are we doing here with this? If you are using Instagram, which is Instagram.com, it is a website that is utilized as an application for your devices. Okay. It's not a game or like some toy that, excuse me, Instagram is a business. Okay, Instagram, Meta, because it's their Facebook owns Instagram. Like they're a business and things may appear free to you. The things ain't free. It ain't free. That's why I have in the description, that's why I have air quotes around it's a free real estate, because the one thing that you are trading your time for and giving, what you're giving is your attention and your time. Let me rewind on that. You may not be paying money, but you're giving your time and attention to the application, to the website. And that, my dear artist, is worth way more than money. When they have anyone, or anybody at any time, if someone has your time and your attention and your energy, what do they need your money for? Or eventually they'll get your money. It does, like it'll be by default because they're already getting your time, your attention, and your energy. So is it really free? Okay. Yep. I dive 20 levels deep, but it's all good. I'm here to tell y'all what's up. It's true. It's free. Air quotes, free. But there are a lot of businesses that are flourishing and doing very well because they do have your time and attention and your energy. So, anyway, if you're using that space or any space, like I said earlier, you're using Instagram, it is critical that you know what you're using it for. Okay. Are you just hanging out on Instagram? If you're just hanging out and you're posting photos of your family and you're posting photos of your spouse and you're posting photos and reels and stories of your vacations and your dogs and your artwork, somewhere in that combination, somewhere in all of that, is you throw in a little bit of artwork, right? Uh, great, great. As long as you know what you're using it for. If you're using it because you want to make sure that you show your online gallery and use it as a portfolio for your artwork, and you're very intentional and you love to, share what you're doing, and you create themes and color schemes that are very consistent, and you pay attention to make sure that you have your website up to speed. It's everything. Your bio is A plus plus. Great, as long as you know what you're using it for. And the reason why, for some of you, that sounds blatantly obvious, but after all of the conversations I've had with artists, it's not that obvious. A lot of people don't even, and this is, yes, I'm talking to my creatives specifically, although we're all very creative. That's just where I'm at with it. But anyway, so it appears that I'm talking to artists, creatives, and designers, but this just goes for anyone. You know, it goes for anyone to actually know what they're doing with what they have. If you have some space, or some free internet space, if you will, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on TikTok, you're on Snapchat. What are you doing? You're on YouTube. What are you doing? What is the point of you utilizing these applications and websites? What's the point? So it's important that you know what you're doing with these platforms. No, it is not that obvious to some people. And based on the conversations that I've had with artists in the DMs, voice memoing, consultations, a lot of artists respond by telling me, hey, I never really was intentional. I was not, and that's okay. And that's why we're having this conversation. So you can have some direction. Ain't nothing like having some direction. I think that's wonderful when someone can give me some directions. And we are going to talk about having the goal and how it is like having a direction, right? Having directions because you know what it is you're trying to do. So let's continue. An artist without a goal is like trying to get to a destination, but you don't know what the destination is. So I had said on a previous episode that artists want me to give them the secret sauce, the tips and the tricks. And I ask them, well, what are you trying to accomplish? Like, they'll say, well, I want more followers and I want more likes. They want more attention. That's what that means. They want more validation. That's what that can translate to. If you don't know what the purpose is of getting more followers, if you don't know what the point is, then you just want attention, because that's all more followers can do for you. It could just give you more attention, but what is the point? What are you doing with the people that are following you now? If you don't have an answer, then why would you want more of what you're not even making use of that you currently have? Like, you might need to rewind that. You might need to hit that 15-second rewind, because maybe some of y'all missed that. What are you doing with what you already got? What Getting more of it isn't going to solve anything. Yeah, I said it. It's true. It's like, what? I used to be like that. Trust. I don't speak on things that I tell y'all this all the time. I don't speak just to hear myself talk. Like, I'm telling you what I have experienced. So what I'm telling you about is not me trying to judge you. It's not me trying to categorize you. It's not me trying to come up with something just to sound smart. I'm telling you that I've experienced this. So, okay. What you want to do, you want to have some kind of goal. A goal will act as an address. An address. So you don't get in an Uber, a taxi, a plane or a train or an automobile. You don't get in and have no clue where you're going. If your goal is to joyride, then you've already picked what your goal is, and therefore you know that you're just joyriding. But if you want to tell me, for example, give me a tip and a trick, that's like getting in a taxi and telling the taxi cab driver or the Uber driver, take me somewhere, anywhere. What do you know can you just picture the look on the driver's face? Take me somewhere. They're not going to go, they ain't going to move until you tell them exactly where you want to go. And even if, and some of y'all have experienced this, right? Even if you're on your way somewhere, right? And your destination, let's just say it's in a really busy city, your destination is, maybe like a block ahead, but the cab is now stopped in traffic, and you tell them, "Hey, I'll get out right here." Right? And you'll just walk a block, right? The point is the driver now has been told where to stop. Like, they're not going to just pick a place. Even if you tell them to pick a place, they're still going to end up just making sure you've given them the green light. They're going to make sure that you confirmed where your destination is. So it's critical that you have an address so you can tell the driver, this is where I'm trying to get to. When you have an address, you will do what it takes to make sure that you get to that address, not the neighbor's address, okay? Not the person across the street's address. You want to get to a specific address. This is how you have to treat your goal. Now, can your goal change? Absolutely, it could change. But just because a goal could change, that's not a valid reason for not coming up with one. You're losing the importance of having a destination. And I have to say this to y'all like this, because I don't know what it is. And it's all good. I'm not trying to figure it out, because everyone's walk is different. But how is it useful to not have any idea of what you're doing? It's not useful. So get a goal. Get a goal. Get an initial goal. An initial goal that feels achievable is what I usually tell artists, okay? So what I usually tell my clients. Have an initial goal that feels achievable. Have an initial goal that feels maybe even more than achievable. Because when you achieve it, first of all, there's confidence in knowing that you can achieve it. Then, when you achieve it and possibly exceed that goal, that also does what? If you've listened to my previous episodes, that will help build the muscle of confidence. And that's critical. You've got to have that. You've got to have it. And I've also talked about an artist without a goal is also like if you're familiar with Scooby Doo. I know. I know I'm over here talking all serious and now I'm talking about Scooby Doo. Yes, look it up, Google it if you don't know what Scooby Doo is. So anyway, Scooby Doo, there is a character on this cartoon. Her name is Velma. Velma wears glasses. Velma is usually the very smart one among the crew. But when Velma loses her glasses, she is helpless. The woman is helpless. Okay. Like when she loses her glasses, she can't see worth anything. It's like I would watch the cartoon when I was younger and I would just be thinking, how is it you lose your glasses and it's almost like you can't even see anymore? Like I didn't quite understand how severe her vision would be so thrown off. I didn't understand it. But anyway, so an artist without a goal is like Velma when she loses her glasses. She's on the floor on all fours, patting around with her hands, trying to find her glasses. Like she's helpless. Can someone please help me get my glass? Like, she'd be saying, like, hey y'all, hey, can someone, hey, hey. It's like it didn't matter how smart she was, because when she didn't have the glasses, like the girl can't do anything. Okay. So this is also an example, an illustration of why it's so important for you to know what you're doing. At least, excuse me, it's important for you to have a goal. And if you don't know what you're doing, then start finding out and gaining knowledge in that area, such as listening to this podcast. All right. So, another thing that I came across, a very common theme with artists in the DMs, right? Is that they haven't quite determined, or I'll just say it like this: hobby versus professional purpose. So, are you using your page for a hobby just because you love life and art and, your spirit and you're just uplifted and shifted and you just love posting and sharing, and like, are you just doing this for fun? Or are you doing this more so for professional purposes, such as selling your art? It's critical that you are deciding which one is a priority to you. I cannot tell you how many conversations I have had with artists, how many artists have told me, well, and this is literally in the same paragraph in the direct messages, okay? They'll tell me, I love what I'm doing. I love art. Oh my goodness. I've been an artist ever since I was like 2 years old. And I just love it. And oh my gosh, art is life. And then in the same paragraph, they start venting about, but I'm not selling and I'm upset. And it's like, wait, okay, what? Like you can love your art and everything, right? But you cannot go back and forth about the primary purpose of your Instagram page. The primary purpose. Can you use it for professional reasons and have fun doing that? Absolutely. Can you use it as a hobby and essentially sell artwork in the midst of using it for hobby purposes? Sure. What I said, don't twist my words, because some of y'all do that and you can't help it currently. You can't help but to twist people's words, all right? That's just kind of how you are right now, okay? But that's not who you really are. But that's the hat that you have on, is confusion. is back and forth, is taking verbiage and remixing it in your head, okay? I know, I understand that's a thing. I get that. I understand it. I told you I don't talk about things to judge you. I'm telling you this because I have experienced this before. I need to say this again so you're clear and so I'm clear. All right? Can you use your page to just have fun and use it as a hobby and end up selling work? Yes. But understand, if you're moving forth with wisdom, you know the primary purpose of your page is not selling your artwork. The primary purpose is to use it as for a hobby. Use it just for fun. You have determined the primary purpose. That is moving forth with wisdom. That's being aware. That's being aware of what you're doing and being intentional. Now let's flip that around. Can you use your page for the primary purpose of selling art and have fun and enjoy yourself while doing so? Absolutely. Of course you can. But once again, understand you have determined the primary purpose of your page. You need to determine what is the primary purpose. Again, we're talking about your goal. We're warming up here, okay? We're talking about determining the goal. Part of the steps in order to get clarity with your goal is to understand what the purpose is of your page. Like, what are we doing here? All right. So get clear on that. Get crystal clear. It's either for one or the other. For fun and for kicks, primary purpose, right? That's what I said. If you need to rewind and hear it again, that's exactly what I said. Primary purpose for fun or for professional reasons, for kicks or for a movement that you're creating. Okay, for a wave, a movement, whatever you want to call it. All right. When you're determining the purpose of your page, these are building blocks towards your goal so you can have a guiding light for everything that you do. And we're getting there so you can understand the point of the guiding light, okay, which is your goal. So, how exactly do you determine the goal? Well, I'll be honest with you, this is where you either would have to do deep diving. And what I mean by deep diving is really honing in and honing. And this is not something that is just, you know, you woke up and then you have like boom, this humongous ultimate purpose, and that purpose is never going to evolve. No, the purpose is going to evolve, so you can feel like you're doing very well in your purpose right now. But as your purpose evolves, because number one, you're open to evolving, you're open to growth, you're open to progress. Then if you're open to all of those things, then your goals or your goal and your purpose are going to be sharpened. You're going to hone in on it. You're going to evolve. So it's not like or one of your highest purposes, because you can have multiple purposes, right? It's not like it's just going to be, here it is, boom, and it's always going to be this one thing for the next 25 years, right? It's going to evolve, even if it means that, yes, you do have that one sentence as your purpose, but the way that you do it, your style, your technique will evolve. It will change. You know why? Because you are changing. So clearly something else in this equation must change. Okay. I hope that made sense to you. If you need to rewind it, you already know what to do. Go ahead and hit that rewind button. Rewind it 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds if you need to. Okay. If you need to catch up. I always encourage y'all to sit with what I'm sharing with you. Pen, paper, pencil, notepad, iPad, pick something, take some notes, ask some questions, right? So, and my contact, the contact for respecttheartist.com, that's in the description. You got questions? Hey, let me know, okay? Or send an email to the team email. and we'll go from there. So, I'll use my page as an example. So on my page, it states in my bio, internationally, well, word for word, it says God first, and then it says the voice of art. Continuing, it says internationally certified instructor teaching creatives to see value in themselves and their creations. I'll say that again. Teaching creatives to see value in themselves and their creation. This goal serves as a guiding light. So, any and everything that I do on my Instagram is centered around that. It is centered around teaching creatives to see value in themselves and their creations. And guess, I don't even know if I'm about to flip all my words all over the place. Guess whose life is easier because she has the goal in front of her? Mine, okay? My life is so much easier for determining what it is that I'm going to post, what it is I'm going to put in my stories, what it is that I'm going to have on my highlights, what it is that I'm going to have on a reels, what it is I'm going to have on a video. I don't need 80 different things to share. That goal is an address. It's an address. It's specific. So you're wondering, of course, okay, how do I determine what my goal is? Like I said, this is homework. You need to determine what is, number one, the purpose of your page, right? Are you just using it as a hobby? Just show pictures of your fish or the fish that you're cooking. Like what you had for lunch? Is that what you're using your page for? And then you show pictures of your latest drawing, like, hey, not judging. I'm saying you need to determine, what am I doing here with this? Let me segue a little bit too, because artists have asked this question too. Once they have this big aha and they're like, oh, that's really good. That's a good point. I should be thinking about whether I'm using my page, for a hobby or whether I'm really trying to sell art. Like, that's really good. That's good. Thanks. Thanks, Electra. Appreciate that. So after they have this big aha, they're like, okay, wait a minute. So should I start a whole new page? Okay, you know what? You are voluntarily stressing yourself out. Like, that sounds like a good idea to you right now. You're like, what to do today? How about I stress myself out? You know what? No. So I tell artists, no, don't do that. Like, don't. I already see where we're going with this. I already see what you're trying to do to yourself. Self-sabotage all over the place. Like, you're like, you are determined to stress yourself out. You don't even need the TV. You don't need to talk to anyone on the phone. You'll just dial it up yourself. 1-800 stress myself out. Like, sign me up. No, I'm not going to sign you up for stressing yourself out. So I tell an artist, this is what I tell them. You have options. You have options. You can just archive some of those posts. Just archive them. You're not deleting them. You're just archiving them, which simply means that you're storing them away. You're storing them away. So currently on Instagram, if you go to the top right of a single post, like let's say you're looking at a single post right now, go to the top right of the post. You'll see 3 dots. Tap the dots and you will see an option to archive it. See, doesn't that feel so much better? You're not deleting it. You can always bring it back to your gallery if you'd like to. So if you want to archive a post of your dog, I love your dog. I think your dog is fine on your page. But if you are like, okay, I need to clean my page up and I need to display my artwork, display my creativity, and so I need to stash away some of these posts. Great. Just archive them. You don't need to start no new page. Like, why you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Okay. So anyway, that was just a segue of something, because I know artists, I know y'all. I know y'all very well. Okay. So anyway, going back to having your goal in your bio and utilizing that as a guiding light, it creates so much structure. And this is something that creatives come to me to either learn how to do, or they come to me because they want me to provide structure and guidance to them. Having structure and organization is such a healthy thing. Even in nature, this is what I tell artists all the time. Even in nature, there's something called divine order. There's something called order. There's something called a natural process. Like a corn stalk doesn't come before the seed of the corn. Like you see what I'm saying? Like it's not like like if you want success with anything, there is a particular process you must go through. All right? Don't get it, don't twist and remix what I'm saying. There is a process that you must go through. You don't necessarily need to follow everything that someone else did, right? This isn't a copy paste life that you got going on here, okay? It's a process that you must go through. There's an order, a sequence, okay? And part of what I'm teaching you is to understand that increasing in numbers for the sake of increasing in numbers, such as having followers. Oh goodness, like, woo, I'm just rolling my eyes over here. Like the rolling eye emoji. Imagine that, because it's like, how many artists tell me they want more followers, but they literally don't have any goal. They don't have one. Not judging. I'm just telling you, it can't even possibly make logical sense for you to not know what it is that you're going to do with these followers. Okay? If you have been nourishing and showing so much love and respect to your current supporters now, and you know what you're doing with your current supporters now, and you're successfully doing that, what you have deemed as successfully doing that, then by all means increase more of your possible supporters, potential supporters, quality connections. Increase that number then, because you want to be able to provide content that they deem as valuable. And so you want to keep providing that to a larger audience. That's a different conversation. So let's continue here. Here are some examples that I typed up for a goal, right? And something, I'm going to say this, so you may want to write this down, or you may want to revisit what I'm saying as an example of how to determine the goal of your page. Again, this is going to take you going into your meditation, your prayer, your visualization, whatever process that you have to go within your intuition, your spirit, your, finding clarity, whatever that looks like. I highly recommend that you do that, because that's how I come to learning and getting clarity for myself. Go to God about it, go in prayer about it, talk, within your spirit, use your intuition, your gut instinct, whatever verbiage you use to get that peace, to get that clarity, you make sure you do that. So this is something I put together that's a general way of determining the goal of your page. All right. You are doing this verb to get this result. I'm going to say that again. You are doing this verb to get this result. And I'll again use my page as an example. It says, God First, the voice of art, internationally certified instructor, teaching creatives to see value in themselves and their creations. I am doing what? I am teaching creatives to do what? Like what I said earlier, to get what result? I am teaching creatives to see value in themselves and their creations. So once again, you are doing this verbiage, right? The verb, or excuse me, you are doing this verb, whatever the verb is, you're doing this in order to get this result. So here are a few examples. What I just mentioned with my page, right? Teaching artists to see value in themselves and their creations. Here's another example: drawing original comics to put a smile on your face. Okay. See, do you see how that can act as a guiding light for that individual, for that creative? So they are staying consistent, drawing original comics to put a smile on the face of whomever is on their page, following their page, checking them out. They are following through with a particular verb in order to get a particular result. And everybody who supports them understands the point of the page too. Like, I am so tired, y'all. Woo! I'm so tired of going to an artist page and literally knowing nothing. Like, I know nothing here. Like, your pictures, and I'm just saying this with love, your posts are watered down to a lot of people. Okay. It's watered. People, we are so bombarded with visuals. Your visuals can be so incredible and so awesome. And the most that people are going to do is maybe give it a like. But if you don't give us anything deeper than images, then if you don't give us anything deeper than images, then don't expect us to go deeper as a supporter. In other words, we're going to be a surface supporter. I have had clients, okay? My clients tell me, and we're talking clients who have their 40,000 plus followers, 60,000 plus followers, like followers for days and for days, and they still want more followers. And it's just like, what? You got 60,000 people following your platform and you still want more? I'm not sure. What are you doing with the ones that you have now? Like, I don't get it, because the artist who has 2,000 wants 10,000 and the artist who wants 10,000 wants 50,000. What what? Okay. So, and what do I tell my clients who have so many followers and are telling me, "Well, I'm not selling art." Right, because you're not giving us anything more than images. And if you stay surface, we'll stay surface. So, going back to what I was saying, I'm going to hoot and holler if I go to another artist page and in their bio they have nothing but emojis. I'm sorry, what? Like, what? How are you telling me anything with 8 different emojis? Like, got a robot emoji, you got like a giggling emoji, then you have the party hat emoji, and then you have a plug emoji, and then you have some leaves? Are you telling me that you like, what are you, I don't understand. Okay, like, don't get so eccentric in your bio that you can't even you're not even just blatantly communicating to us what we're doing here. What am I doing here? What I tell artists is that your Instagram is like a house or your place of business. What am I doing here, and why do you want me to stay? What is my experience like when I come to your Instagram house? What is my experience here? I have no reason to stay. Come on, somebody. What? Somebody in the back of the room just hollered. Come on now. What what am I doing here? Okay, so continuing with another example of a goal in someone's bio, right? Illustrating birds so the world can see their beauty. You see how that serves as a good, like, these are simple goals. It's nothing, you know, sometimes when I say goal, it's what I'm talking about here is something specific. But when I say goal, the first thing people go for is like the goal for money. And they're like, well, my goal is to make, X amount of dollars. Great. That can be your goal too. But for your Instagram page, you don't need to be putting that in your bio unless you have some kind of reason for doing that. But a goal can be specific. In this case, it is serving as a guiding light for you to follow and know what kind of actions you're going to be taking. So you can work towards a monetary goal if you have one. And here's a plug too. I'm going to segue over here real quick. because artists will hit me with this question, right? How often should I post on Instagram? I don't believe the frequency of your post matters as much as what it is you're posting. Like, you could post pictures of your dog 7 days a week. Is that gonna move your art any? Like, it's not about the frequency, it's about being intentional and what is it that you're sharing? What are you sharing? Like, I'd rather have you share one intentional post per week, as long as it's following the goal of your page, then what are we talking about here? Now, there are other things you can do, such as boosting a post. I mean, that's another episode. There are things that you can do that don't require you putting in the physical manual time to come up with a post and then come up with the caption and come up with the content. Like, that just feels like a whole lot of extra stress that you're trying to sign up for. And your hand is trembling with the pen in your hand because you're trying to sign up for the stress. And I'm like, give me the pen. You don't need to sign up. Put the pen down. Put it down. So it is critical that you determine the goal of your page today, the day that you're listening to this episode. If you do not know whether or not you're using your Instagram for fun or for a professional reason, for your career as an artist, you need to determine that. Okay. That's the first thing you need to determine. What am I using it for? For fun or for pro? And along with that, right? Because that's determining a purpose. That's determining a purpose, the purpose for your page. And along with that, now you have to determine a goal. Now, this isn't something that is quite as simple as what I just said for determining a purpose, but I need for you to really, really put that on your radar. Really determine, what is the goal of my page? If you don't have a goal for your page, you will be bouncing back and forth in your head, spending random bits of time trying to decide what it is you want to share because you don't really know. You're like, let me post a picture of, let me think of something that sounds good, or today I accomplished this and I completed this artwork today. So maybe I should share that, but I'm going to really get a photo of it. It's like, okay, sure. Sure. If you subscribe to the dilly dally thinking where you're just randomly coming up with something, and then when you share it, you are determining whether the response of people will make you feel like it was worth sharing, which is also self-sabotage. Like, when you're intentional and clear about a goal for your page and what you're doing, you could care less of what kind of interaction you get. You could care less. Nowadays, you can hide the comments, you can hide the like count, because I think that's a wonderful thing, that a wonderful option that Instagram has, because we tired. Like, I am not now, and I'm very blessed to say I get a great amount of interaction and engagement on my posts. But I don't lead with that. I'm not trying to do things to simply garner attention. I'm sticking to the goal of my page. And as I stay consistent, I get the quality engagement. And that matters to me more than just random numbers. It's building relationships and connections with quality supporters. And life is so much easier when you have determined what the goal is of your page. You have the guiding light, you have the address, you know exactly where to go, you know exactly what you want to do. So, again, if you have that goal in front of you, you do a reels that is connected to the goal. You post a photo that is connected to the goal. You post a story that is connected to the goal. It's easy. And sometimes y'all, I'll keep it real with you, sometimes y'all want hard. Sometimes y'all want hard. Some of y'all want difficult because that is the energy that you're currently running with. You're currently running with difficult. And that's not healthy. It's not even necessary for you to run with difficult. So really go within for this. You know what I'm saying? Like really determine, all right, you got to reach a point where you're fed up. I'm going to keep it real with you. You got to reach a point where you're just fed up with being random and not hitting the target. You got to be fed up with that. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Determine that purpose. I really need for y'all to just determine that. What is the purpose? Is this for fun and kicks? Or is this pro? Am I trying to really, really do well with this page? Am I trying to be intentional with this page and really hone in on that goal? Think of the examples I shared earlier, right? You're doing this verb, whatever this verb is, you're doing this verb to get this result. And that needs to be clear to yourself and to your audience. Y'all, I love y'all so much. So much. Look, you caught a little bit of singing, a little bit, but that's a whole nother episode about, that's a whole nother episode about my history of singing. Which I would love to hear what your history has been. Y'all know how we are as creatives. Like we've done it all, like singing, dancing, poetry, like everything. Okay. Yeah. That's another episode. All right, y'all. I will holla. Love y'all. Artists, creatives, and designers. It has been an honor and a pleasure to spend this time with you. I'm grateful for your encouragement, love, respect, and support. Follow this podcast and share this episode with another creative who needs to hear it. Your positive ratings and reviews are highly appreciated. Screen capture this episode, post it and tag me on Instagram at DreamAloudArt so I can show the love in return. For more information on having an artist consultation with me or for being on the YouTube show for artist interviews, check the description on this episode or go to respecttheartist.com. That's RESPECTHEARTISTS.com. Much love to y'all. And remember, RTA stands for Respect the Artists. I'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace from here to the Far East.